What's happening, guys? Happy Halloween and happy week 9 in the NFL. You are watching Sleep Stream Stash with me. I am your host. My name is Memphis. And with me, the band is back together again. All three amigos back in the show. I'll start with the gentleman on my left, probably your right, the man out of the greater Washington area, the beanie himself, at Evan Ringler FF. Evan, what's going on, man?
What's up? I think I'm actually on the audience's left, but you know that can get confusing, the left-right thing. I'm happy to be here with you guys. We haven't been able to do this as often as we'd like to recently, so yeah, happy to be back.
I mean, we're 7 of 9 weeks. We do stream this at 3:30 Eastern time. Jonny and I both on Eastern time. You on the West Coast, so this is like lunchtime for you. And Jonny and I, this is like toward the tail end of the workday for us. And sometimes our main job, we'd love for fantasy football to be our main hustle. This is currently our side hustle. So we do the best we can, but things come up but we're stoked. And I see we've already got a bunch of people already in the YouTube stream watching. Go ahead and start throwing some questions in there, because you guys know back into the show, we're going to start answering questions, dynasty trade questions, start sit questions, general football questions. We'll tackle all of them. See what I did there, Evan? Tackle. And then, of course, the aforementioned Jonny at Fantasy Picasso, Jonny Tuma back again, man. What's going on?
Dude, I'm so ready to party and talk some football. My sleeper for today is not going to be a sleeper in like 10 minutes.
Well, then we better get to it. But real quick, I mentioned it's the Halloween edition. So I'll start right back with Jonny. Are you and your family doing anything for Halloween? Are you dressing up? What are the Tuma family plans for this holiday?
Uh-oh, is he frozen?
I think he's frozen. Maybe he's going as Mr. Freeze. What about you, Evan? What are you doing on the holiday? Or you're a man about town?
Yeah, well, my roommates and I have been participating in Sober October. So now tonight that will come to an end, and we will have a good time. We'll just say that we'll be having a good time. I don't know if we'll be going out or staying in. I would like to take a year off from the costume stuff. Just not really my thing. And don't have anything prepared. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. What are your plans on this Halloween?
I got one of those pillowcase size bags of candy at Costco. Dude, what's up with, I feel like Jerry Seinfeld. What's up with the price of Halloween candy? No, it was a big bag of Halloween candy. It's like $23 at Costco, but it's a good 20 some pounds. I'm just going to hand out candy. I used to be a bartender when I was a younger guy, probably somewhere around your age. I was a bartender, and we always considered nights like New Year's Eve and Halloween to be amateur night. You know, this is where the amateurs are out. A lot of DUIs. It's just my wife and I will hand out candy, and then we will, go back to watching whatever TV show is that she's picked out for us to watch. Actually, we'll probably watch the World Series. I want to watch the Toronto Blue Jays finish off the LA Dodgers. It feels weird rooting for Canada in the American national pastime, but I'm going to do it, man. I can't do the Dodgers. I don't like the buying of World Series championships.
I get it, man. Yeah.
So I'm burnout. So what we're going to do, we're going to knock out our fast draft ad. We're going to see if we can get Jonny back. We're going to go right into the show. Questions flowing in. Love to see it. We'll be right back.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys, and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick Six Super Slam. The Quick Six Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
I wonder what the Podfather's being for Halloween. You know, I know he's got the daughter, soccer player. Would love to know what's going on at the Kelly family
He's got
household.
something planned. Yeah, we're gonna get something on social media, and it's just gonna be like, wow, he put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah, for sure. And we see the chats hopping. That's awesome. We'll see if Johnny's able to make it back. And I want to give a shout out to Jamie. Jamie Parag supports all of the player profiler chats. He created a song for my other podcast, The Dynasty Warzone. We're going to debut this on this upcoming week. I got to figure it out. I saw it. I was at work. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. Like I said, if Johnny makes it back on, great. If not, we'll read off his guy and his notes as we go. But I'm going to give you the first sleeper. And I like this one. But the floor is yours. Sleeper number one.
Yeah, my sleeper this week is Colston Loveland, who has been one of the most disappointing fantasy assets, period, this season. But I think this might be the week he can get going. The Bears' offense is just littered with injuries this week. DeAndre Swift is out. Roshan, I believe, is questionable. Their top three receivers, Odunze, DJ Moore, and Olamide Zaccheaus, have all been battling lower body injuries. It looks like they're all going to play, but they're going to be playing through pain for sure. Luther Burden is out. Cole Kmet is still hobbled with his back injury. And Loveland is the only guy on this offense that has been healthy and practicing in full all week. So I think that Ben Johnson is going to be building the offense around Loveland for this Bengals defense, which is obviously one of the league's worst defenses by any measure you use. And also, by far, the best matchup for tight ends this year. And it's not close at all. The tight ends facing the Bengals this year score 8 points more than their seasonal average. No other defense is above 5 points. So this is a huge breakout opportunity for Colston Loveland, and I expect him to take advantage.
I like Colston Loveland quite a bit, and it reminded me of the tight end class of 2017. It was when we first started doing the Dynasty Warzone. You had Evan Ingram, you had O.J. Howard out of Alabama, you had Njoku, you had Jonnu Smith. And it took a while, especially for the more athletic guy like Jonnu Smith and David Njoku to break out. Hopefully this can be Loveland's breakout game. Because you know there's Dynasty GMs out there everywhere salty because there's more than one. Someone took the Colston Loveland, rookie pick over Tyler Warren. And how sick is that guy right now, or lady right now? Oh, yeah, I'm in my rookie draft. It's a tight end premium.
Seriously.
Oh, I in our patron leagues at Dynasty Warzone's Patreon, we have a couple of ladies who play Dynasty.
Women can play Dynasty.
I thought you were referring to Warren as a lady.
No. He's got beautiful hair. No. I mean, see, Dynasty's for everyone, gang. Fantasy, Dynasty, it's all for the whole group.
Yeah.
But Johnny, what about you? Because what do you think about Loveland as a Dynasty player this week in particular? And then you're staying right in Chicago with sleeper number two.
Yeah, I mean, I am the biggest Colston Loveland guy, like the drumbeat all off season. He was my tight end one, which was at one point a spicy take, right? Like he was not projected to be the first tight end taken. And I think he's just got that pass catching skill set that just bodes so well for fantasy. We've just yet to see that breakthrough. But to your point, like this is a dinged up offense playing against the Bengals team with virtually no defense. So this is a perfect opportunity for him to step up. And I'm really glad you called him out because I got a buddy who watches the show. I told him, go grab Colston Loveland. Like it was instead of, a couple of the, like Juwan Johnson was his other option. And I was like, let's give him a roll of the dice. So now my buddy can say that it's not just me who's saying that. But yeah, I'm staying in Chicago for my guy. This is like I was saying before my internet cut out.
Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
So before you name it, I want to give a shout out to Garrett, our producer, because if you're an audio listener, you need to go to YouTube long enough to at least look at the thumbnail. Garrett is awesome. Garrett kicks ass. It's who's on the thumbnail. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to make sure to take a second to shout out Garrett, because he's one of the many producers behind the scenes at Player Profiler who do so much for all of us that are doing stuff on air. So I know who you're going to mention, but I wanted to use it as a way to shout out our good friend Garrett, who produces us.
Yes, shout out Garrett. He is my producer for Dynasty Deep Dive as well, and just a major great guy to work with. But yeah, I was glad we got this guy, Kyle Monangai, on this thumbnail, because now DeAndre Swift is officially out. When I put this show sheet together, it was like, hey, go get this guy, assuming we weren't going to get that information until 90 minutes before the game, as kind of like, be ready to start him, right? So if he is still on waivers in any of your leagues in any format, you need to go get him. This is Swift is not playing. Roshan Johnson is dinged up with a back injury, which doesn't bode well for being a high snap count, right? And Monangai's role has been growing regardless. Like he's been playing nearly half the snaps at the running back position, seen 23 opportunities over the last 2 weeks, and he's looked good in all phases, drawing a lot of positive praise from the head coach, Ben Johnson. There's another plug here. I want to expand on this. Like Ian Hartitz has a cool shit metric, which is touchdowns, explosive plays, tackles avoided, divided by touches. And Monangai is 8th in that cool shit metric. So he's doing cool shit when he's out there. He's playing against the 32nd worst D versus running backs. Grab him now. Put him in your starting lineup. He's almost a must start for me in a top 10 option immediately now that we know Swift is out. So I'm going all in with this guy as one of my top plays for the week, regardless of like, I know he's a 7th round rookie and all that. He's going to see a huge workload this weekend against a really bad defense. You got to start him.
And this is a chance. And what I took away from that, the first thing I took away from that was that they ruled DeAndre Swift out today. It seems awful early and awful aggressive to rule him out on Friday. If the injury wasn't that bad, to Johnny's point, they would have waited until 90 minutes prior to game time. It's a 1 p.m. game on Eastern on Sunday, and they have to announce the people in and out by 11:30 a.m. Why would they go ahead and do that essentially 48 hours early unless he's really banged up? This might not only be a good week because the Bengals are the best matchup for the fantasy running back, but it might be a matchup that he's able, or a starting spot he may be able to leverage for the next couple of weeks. And this is kind of how like guys off the bench start getting their breakthrough. Look at Cam Scatterbo. No offense to Cam, RIP, sorry about your ankle, but he wasn't the starter. It took the Chiefs game, which was Scatterbo's breakout game, where Tyron Tracy got the shoulder injury, and all of a sudden it became the Cam Scatterbo show. This is Monangai's chance to do big things against a great matchup. And if he runs, no pun intended, if he runs with the opportunity, he could solidify himself as the 1B in this offense for the rest of the season. I think it's a great call. I think you could also call him a sleeper. He's kind of not much of a stash at this. He's all the above. Yeah. He's a little bit of all of them. I'm going to hit you guys with a streamer, because I want to get through these because the questions, thank you, are flying in. My first streamer, I went to do the guy that Johnny's going to cover here in a second, but I went Calvin Austin, $4,000 on DraftKings, and my point is let's start with the obvious. Like if you're really hurting, you got buys, you got injuries. If Calvin Austin's available on your waiver wire, he's a great play against the Colts, because the Colts, this will not come as a surprise, highest scoring team in the NFL. They average 34 points a game on offense. And the Steelers aren't the Steelers of, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The steel curtain doesn't exist. They're 17th on defensive rankings right now. So long story short, the Colts are going to score. They did against the Broncos, good defense. They did against the Rams, good defense. And the Colts have given up more wide receiver, or I guess have faced more wide receiver targets than any team in the league. 183 targets. It's 26 more than the next closest team. That is a lot. That's 23 wide receiver targets a game. The Colts this season have tended to do better against bigger, physical, sized wide receivers. Think of the game against Cortland Sutton. He had 1 catch for 6 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have a particularly great game. So While I think DK will get his points, I think it's the smaller, shiftier guy in Calvin Austin, maybe even a little Roman Wilson sprinkled in there too. But this is a game where the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to throw the ball to keep up with the Colts. And if you're looking for like a little prop bet, again, this is not financial advice. This is like this is like Johnny's boy Pete Nova. He likes to sprinkle a little action on this. I actually put down a little bet on the alt receiving yards prop for Calvin Austin on DraftKings right now to go plus 60 yards. So you'd have to, have 61. It's plus 295, essentially 3-1 that he can catch 60 yards. He did it once in the first game of the season. They're going to have to involve him. I like Calvin Austin this week quite a bit. I'll kick it back to Evan because Johnny will hear your thoughts on Calvin Austin, and then you can roll into the other streamer.
Can I kind of ask you though before we go to Evan? Like, man, you're the Colts fan on the show, and first off, I just want to say I think it's so cool that like there's extra credence that the viewers can take because you watch that team and you know how they play those physical wide receivers. So I just love that. But like, man, we haven't even talked about this on the show. Like, the Colts are the surprise of this season. You live in Indianapolis. Like, you were cautiously optimistic to start the year. How are you feeling, Memphis?
It's great. This is like the best start they've had in like the last 25 years. That includes the Manning era. That includes the Andrew Luck era. It's been great. And this is how I don't know how it is. And I know you're in the Florida area, Evan, you're in Washington, but in Indianapolis, when pro sports are going well, and we've had a good run, right? The Pacers made it all the way to the NBA finals. The Fever, the WNBA team, made a deep run. When they're selling swap meet swag on the side of the city streets at the gas station, things are good. Yeah, dude, for me, it's great. I've always liked Daniel Jones, the athlete, but he's like the kind of guy, he's not going to overcome a bad situation. Andrew Luck had to overcome a bad situation. Joe Burrow is trying to overcome a bad situation. Daniel Jones is in a good situation. He's got a great play caller. He's got great weapons. I mean, for whatever you think about Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, all of those guys, by the way, run a sub 4.5 40 from the combine. They all ran a 4.48 or better. Fast guys, big guys, great weapons. Offensive line's playing well. And I sent it to Evan before the show, and I'll send it to you. You start watching some of these film breakdowns of what Shane Steichen is doing to people. It's amazing. It's no wonder that guys like even Gardner Minshew had a career season under Steichen. Justin Herbert had his best statistical season. Jalen Hurts, he can work with anybody. It feels amazing. I don't want to be one of those fantasy or football analysts that do wish casting, but if there was a way for the Colts to go out and get like a Max Crosby, that would be the thing. Not that Kwity Paye and Latu and Buckner haven't been getting a good pass rush, but that would be like that chef's kiss. And when you're not paying your quarterback $48 million like the Buffalo Bills are or the Chiefs are, you can add around the team. So I'm stoked.
Make a splash. Go all in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if for some reason the Chiefs beat the Bills this week, both those teams would have 3 losses. The Colts would be 2 games ahead in the win column. They do have a rough stretch, a tough, not rough, but they've got the Seahawks, they've got the Chiefs, they've got a lot coming up on the schedule. But yeah, thank you for asking. I'm a huge Colts fan. Evan, what are your thoughts on Calvin? But yeah, I'm also a realist. I'm not rooting against. It's a good matchup. They're going to have to throw. I would like to say that Freiermuth or maybe one of the tight ends could have a good game. Aaron Rodgers has never been a big tight end quarterback in his career. I think the small, shifty guy, think back to Randall Cobb, could really do a number on the Colts. Not like Puka Nacua number, but he could do great. Evan?
Okay, number one, Aaron Rodgers just threw 4 touchdowns, all to tight ends in a game. So I don't know about that last part. They like to play 4 tight ends on the field at the same time. Which
there was a Robert Tonyan year too with him. He had I remember that year.
Yeah, this is the Arthur Smith offense, not the Aaron Rodgers offense. Second, Memphis did say, I don't want to be the guy that wish casts and then immediately suggest the Colts make an impossible trade
I didn't
for
say
one of the
I
best
said I
edge
didn't.
rushers in the league.
I said I didn't want to. I didn't say I wouldn't. There's a difference.
It's completely impossible. There's no chance that Max Crosby is traded, but I'll let you hope there. Then I also wanted to mention that before the season, I was talking to my other Colts buddy, and he was saying, or I suggested that the Seahawks and Colts could meet in the Super Bowl as just a complete joke. And now looking at it, it's actually semi possible, which is really interesting. And then now we can actually get into Calvin Austin, who I do agree is a good play this week. The Colts are the second most advantageous matchup for wide receivers, just after the Dallas Cowboys. Despite the Colts defense being pretty good, it's just a result of those game scripts. It's also a very advantageous matchup for the Steelers tight ends as well. So I'm not exactly sure where the fantasy points are going to go, but Calvin Austin is going to be on the field running those deep routes. You just need to connect with one for it to really pay off in your lineup.
All right, Johnny, throw us your guy.
Yeah. So it was actually going to be Travis Hunter. So, I mean, he was a great price on DraftKings. He's coming out of the bye week. Like, the stars were aligning, right? And then we get the news that he's going to be on IR out the next 4 games.
Out of nowhere.
And
where did that come from?
Yeah, out of nowhere, right? I mean, had the bye week, should have been rested up, got injured in practice. Like, this is just terrible news because he really had that breakout game against the Rams heading into the bye week. And I think that's what I was expecting going forward, was that 8 to 10 targets a game, heavy usage. Where's that usage going to go now, right? Strange is on IR, Hunter's on IR, Brian Thomas Jr. is battling a wrist injury. Diami Brown is maybe less than 100% with a shoulder injury, even though he's been a full participant. So Parker Washington is who I see stepping up here over the next couple of weeks, starting this week against a really porous Vegas D. He is $3,700 on DraftKings, which is pretty darn cheap. He's had 2 out of 7 games this year with 10 plus targets. And I think that's kind of the role you could see him assuming. Something like 6 to 8 catches, 70 plus yards, and a touchdown potentially. So the ceiling isn't crazy high here, but I also, he could be a DraftKings streamer, but he's a guy who you could stream in a pinch in all formats this week. Again, the matchup's great. You got to expect he's going to have a somewhat large role with all the injuries they've been facing with their pass catchers.
Yeah, it's not easy coming out of the bye with everyone hurt. And then how crazy was it that they're talking about Brian Thomas Jr. could be available at the trade deadline? Crazy that came out over the weekend. It just tells you there's something going on with Brian Thomas Jr. But I like this. The targets have to go somewhere. They absolutely have to go somewhere. Real quick, let's get our stashes out of the way because the chat is filling up with a bunch of questions, and we want to spend some time on them. So, Evan, you have the first stash. And by the way, not to make it impossible because we want to hit here at Sleep Stream Stash, but I don't think we could hit as big as I believe it was Jonny in week 4 when he said, go out and stash Oronde Gadsden. That might have been the stash. Great stash, wonderful stash, a fantastic player. And Jerry and I have been doing our Dynasty ranking series, and we were going to get to tight ends. And we had, because of so much going on, we didn't get them on this week's show. We're going to do them on next week's show. This past week's show, we did running backs. But I will tell you, as I was doing my Dynasty tight end rankings, I had to put Gadsden right there at the back end of the top 10. But there you go, Evan. There's the bar.
Okay,
there's the bar. You have to give us an Oronde Gadsden level sleeper stash for the show. Good luck.
Well, I will try my best. Also, I think that Gadsden back end of the top 10, that's like super conservative.
Very conservative.
I'm going up to tight end 6 this week, and I think tight end 5 is easily in play. The only guys that are out of bounds would be Bowers, McBride, Warren, and Kraft. But after that,
it's disrespectful to Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta has been bad this year. What are we talking about?
And Oronde Gadsden has had 2 good games. And one of them against the Colts where they were down 407 points.
Gadsden is averaging like 6 more expected points per game than Sam Laporta this season, and that's including all of his bad games.
We will correct all of this in the offseason, but I would love nothing more to be in a dynasty league with you, have a Rondé Gadsden, have Jake Ferguson. I will send you a Rondé Gadsden. You can send me Jake Ferguson and a King's ransom on top of Jake Ferguson. And I'd love to see.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, okay.
You're just adding in a King's ransom. I never said I'd do that.
Anyway, I'm belaboring your stash.
Okay, my stash, who is going to break out even more than Rondé Gadsden's for sure, is Emanual Wilson, the backup running back on the Green Bay Packers. I brought him up on a number of shows this year. I think he's the most underrated handcuff in fantasy at the moment. Currently available in over 90% of ESPN and Yahoo leagues. Wilson currently ranks 4th among all qualified running backs in yards created per touch. The Packers trust him as both a runner and a pass catcher. So if Jacobs were to go down, Wilson immediately steps into a workhorse role in the NFL's second best offense by EPA per play, only behind your Indianapolis Colts. I also think he's a great guy to potentially get thrown into your dynasty trades over the next couple of weeks. I have him currently ranked RB 56 in Dynasty, which is much higher than his current value of RB 73 on Keep Trade Cut.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs is just an absolute warrior, but he's 28. And who is Lynch? I want to say Marshawn, but what's his first name? Who's been on the Packers?
Marshawn Lloyd.
Marshawn Lloyd. I'm sorry. Right combination of Marshawn Lynch, but just the wrong last name, Marshawn Lloyd. Everybody's wanted him to be a thing. He just can't stay healthy long enough to be a thing. And if Emanual Wilson starts getting, especially, I've always questioned these head coaches, and they know way more about football than me. But I'm like, why are you continuing to pound? Like last week, Jonathan Taylor fed fantasy families last week, 37 points. But do we need that many touches against the Tennessee Titans? Can we not maybe save a couple?
Yeah.
Can we not maybe let DJ Giddens get a couple of touches and
Speaking of DJ Giddens, I really want to get your take on this. I think it's kind of important for Dynasty, especially. What do you think about DJ Giddens being a healthy scratch? What's up with that?
It's kind of like the Caleb Johnson thing in Pittsburgh. And Jerry and I talked about this, and we all do Dynasty content, right? And you can get everything else right about a prospect. You can get the athleticism, you can get the landing spot, you can get all of those things right. But one thing that we cannot guarantee, no matter how hard we work or analyze or break things down, is that we can't guarantee whether or not a player is just going to get it, right? A guy could do all of the things in college, but he gets to the NFL, he just can't figure out an NFL system. He can't figure out an NFL locker room. And it's not that you're a bad Dynasty content creator. It just means that he's not getting it. That's my concern, because I was huge on DJ Giddens as well. I think he's a tremendous talent. Again, we talked about how complex and neat Shane Steichen's offense is. He just maybe can't do it. And we saw the one game where he played where he completely missed a block. I think it was the Rams game, and Daniel Jones got smoked. That's not going to fly in the NFL. Doesn't mean that he may not get another chance later in the season. But yeah, I was super bummed about that. I'm going to get to my guy real quick so we can get to some of these questions. And I'm actually surprised we haven't brought him up. But for me, it's Isaiah Bond. Didn't get drafted because of the off-the-field issues coming into the draft. But prior to those issues, he was projected to be anywhere between an early second rounder and a third rounder. And that's pretty good draft capital for an NFL wide receiver. A lot of guys on our Dynasty rosters and that we're starting this week, these guys were drafted in that range. It's a great spot. And so he's got the talent to get there, right? And he had a 5-game stretch. Now, they had the really windy game, and he's done it with Flacco. He's done it with Gabriel. But he had a 5-game stretch where he had 25 targets. That's not too bad for a guy who didn't play much in training camp, preseason. But here's something that I found pretty interesting. And if you're not signed up over at playerprofiler.com, you should be. This guy's 26th in the league in unutilized air yards this season. That is a crazy stat. And he's got a catchable pass rate of 50%. And he's 30% in average target distance. This is a guy that if the Cleveland Browns can ever figure out the quarterback, could be a breakout. That's why he's a stash. He's got the rest of this year and next year of taxi squad eligibility. I wasn't a huge Bond guy during the rookie season, but the speed's there, the talent's there, and I think he's worth a stash, and most people probably aren't paying attention. What do you think, Johnny?
I think the big concern there is it's just such a bad offense, and you almost start to hope that they give Shador a chance, right? Like there's this guy on X, I don't know who, he actually makes it on TikTok, it makes its way to X, but he does like the worst throws of the week, and it's basically just every week guaranteed top five worst throws of the week, and they're all Dylan Gabriel, and he like refers to him as like former Heisman player, that he's like soon to be backup quarterback. Why is he still the starter? Like, and I just think it's one of those things where until there's some motion there, but to your point, when we're talking about stashes, sometimes it's the piece of candy that everyone's getting tired of and spitting out, right? Like this is a bye week right now. There's probably some dynasty leagues where he's being dropped by impatient managers, and he's got all the traits of someone who could break out long-term. So I agree with you long-term. A guy you want to try and carve out a bench spot for in a dynasty league, deeper league. I don't know if we're going to see it this season with the quarterback situation.
Yeah, totally agree. I just pulled up his stats, and the first thing I noticed made me do a massive double take was 11 receptions on 30 targets. Good Lord, that is horrible.
And he's got one drop. He's got one drop.
Yeah, only one drop. Yeah. So it's really just an atrocious quarterback room at the moment. I don't think we can expect really any Browns wide receivers to be useful in fantasy this year. Maybe the tight ends at points can get there, but certainly not Isaiah Bond. I think that he's a solid just stash on the taxi squad, but in some more casual dynasty leagues, you certainly won't have room for him. But in the kind of leagues that we play in, there's certainly room for him on your taxi squad.
You know, for me, I don't want to say it's a 1-to-1, but it's kind of like the Colts, right? Because I think Kevin Stefanski's a good head coach, and I think he's a good play caller. And I think he needs his Daniel Jones or Jaden Daniels. He either needs that highly drafted rookie that he can turn into his guy, like a Jackson Dart even, or he needs that reclamation project, not Joe Flacco, who's 87 years old, but an actual, like, you know, not Justin Fields, but someone like Mac Jones. Can we get Mac Jones in Cleveland? Is that too much to ask?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not horrible.
Great.
I have a reclamation project for you. What about Deshaun Watson?
Man, here's you guys know Rich Dotson from the Dynasty Nerds, and he's a Cleveland guy. And I told him, I was like, dude, Cleveland's where quarterbacks go to die. It's like on a quarterback Indian burial ground. Baker Mayfield balls out at Texas Tech and Oklahoma, shows up in Cleveland, couldn't play dead in a plane wreck. Goes to Tampa Bay. All of a sudden, he's an MVP candidate. Deshaun Watson in Houston is an MVP candidate. Shows up in Cleveland, can't play dead. It's amazing. There's something going on. Could be something on the Cuyahoga, but listen, we will get into all of this stuff in the offseason. We don't know what we're going to do as a collective in the offseason, but this podcast trio will be doing something as it relates to Dynasty and content going on, because we just like talking football together. But if you're looking for something, maybe your Dynasty roster's a wreck, your office league's a wreck, and you're looking for some fast draft, check this out.
I know your sad draft season is over, but just because the NFL season starts doesn't mean the drafting stops, because Fast Draft has the Flex 6 Frenzy. You're drafting 6 guys for the Sunday slate against 9 other competitors. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun. And as with everything on Fast Draft, there are no salaries. Woo! So go to draftfaster.com, get the app, use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
We don't have a promo code, but you can use Warzone, all caps, all one word. Let's get into it, man. The chat on a Halloween, everybody must be getting ready to hand out candy. The chat, as they say, is lit. It says we'll start with Mondo. Mondo, is Monangai worth the flex over Worthy or Alvin Kamara? 100%, especially if you're the underdog. You know, if he blows up against a great matchup, yes, heck yes, easy for me. And Evan, you jumped right in there as well.
Yep, easy.
I don't have to ask Jonny. That's your guy.
It's unreal how high. If I were to actually have to rank him, everyone would be disgusted with where I would put Kyle Monangai. He's a must start this week.
And it's got to be a combination of both the opportunity and how bad the matchup. I mean, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. How bad the Cincinnati Bengals defense is against the running back, making it a great matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Start 2 RBs. Bam Knight, Kareem Hunt, Travion Henderson, Tajay Spears. I'll go right back to Jonny.
I kind of like this Bam Knight play. Like, it's gross as hell. And 2 weeks ago, I was saying I wouldn't touch the room with a 10-foot pole, the running back room in Arizona. They dropped Michael Carter, right? It's probably going to be a lion's share of the early down work for Bam Knight with some Amari DiMarcado sprinkled in. Kareem Hunt, that situation's a little murkier to me. Does Elijah Mitchell get activated and play and actually see like a significant snap share? That's not out of the ordinary for like what we've seen with the Chiefs. And I don't think it's going to be like, Pacheco's out, so now Hunt and Smith's snap shares just increase with all those snaps. Like, I think they're going to involve Mitchell. I think that's going to remain an ugly backfield. Henderson, I'm going to say we got to give him a chance this week with no Ramondre. So my guys are going to be Henderson and Bam Knight. Spears, unless I know any better, he's kind of in a terrible offense against a really good defense, the Chargers this week, and there's still Tony Pollard in the mix. So leaning away from Spears and Hunt and going with Bam Knight and Henderson.
Totally agree.
What about you?
Don't think it's particularly close either. Henderson has a ton of upside this week with no Stevenson. Bam Knight is facing the Cowboys and is going to get the lion's share of the work. Easy.
Yeah, I agree. I would say in the Kansas City game, this is Brashad Smith's shot. You know, Pacheco largely out because it's kind of like one of those now or never. It's kind of how I feel. And with Travion, because of the draft capital, it's not now or never. He's one that makes me wonder, is he in that same boat as Giddens and Caleb Johnson? What's he missing? We know it's not a talent issue. You know, there's got to be something that Josh McDaniel and Mike Vrabel are seeing that we can't see as content creators that make them feel more comfortable putting Ramondre Butterfinger Stevens back out there as opposed to, what do you have, like 3 fumbles in a game? How many other old school coaches like a Mike Vrabel would keep running a running back out there who keeps fumbling? But as crazy as that is to say, they keep doing it. So I'm going to go with Henderson because of the Ramondre issues. But man, I'm nervous. We'll go G-Hop. G-Hop, thank you for always supporting the show. Pick 3, half-point PPR flex. Rico, who according to the head coach is going to be more involved. Travion's back again. I will save you this. Darius Slayton and Woody Marks. Not Darius Slayton. Seen. Jonny, anything to add here?
Man, this is so tough because that Dowdle matchup is brutal against that Green Bay defense. Wait, Evan, what's the face for?
Well, it's Darius Slayton. Like, keep him on the bench.
I wouldn't let Darius Slayton. But yeah, we're going to take Dowdle, Henderson, and Woody. We're only benching one.
So wait, why are we automatically benching Slayton?
Because I wouldn't let him wash my truck.
Because it's Darius Slayton. What are we talking about?
There was an OPI last week that really shouldn't have been one, and he would have had like a 20-point game. That's how I look at this. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson in that passing offense. You got a good quarterback with Jackson Dart who can sling it down the field. Like, I don't think the half-point PPR changes things a little bit for me as well, where you're chasing kind of those big plays, the yardage, the touchdown upside. If it was PPR, I would automatically be like, oh, this is easy. But Woody Marks is kind of like, he's a pass-catching back. I think you guys are thinking that's a lock, but it's a Denver defense that is kind of tough. And they're no Patrick Surtain, so I expect them to target their pass catchers a little more. So I'll respect whatever you guys say. I just do think this is a little closer than y'all like laughing me out of the room by saying, "Hey, this is a tough one."
I appreciate you giving a good counter, a good counter take, because sometimes it's not always that simple. I just instantly see that Jonah Hill from the movie Moneyball, where like this is Darius Slayton, and the problem is he's Darius Slayton.
The only issue is that he sucks.
No juice.
Yeah,
all right.
I just like I respect the Slayton take for sure, but if you had this situation in your own league, could you seriously put in Darius
right.
Slayton over these guys without puking? Because I couldn't.
I worry about Dowdle a bit. You guys know I love.
I know,
Dowdle.
I
You
get
know
it, I
think he
get it.
has juice, but that's a tough matchup.
But
I think they're
could
gonna be
you
playing from
physically
behind.
could you physically do it though? I don't think you could.
To be honest with you, I think it would go back to the like Memphis's thing that he talks about all the time. What's the projections? Are you a big underdog? Because if you need 20 points from that position, you might want to go with Darius Slayton instead
That's
of
fair.
Dowdle. If you're
Yeah.
okay getting 8-9 points and that's all you need because you're favored or it's close and you want to just play conservative, yeah, go with the running backs, right? They're going to have a higher floor. I just think Slayton might have a bit higher ceiling than some of these guys.
That's fair.
All right, I love this question because A, it's from Jamie, and B, it ties into the holiday. If Oronde Gadsden's
Great
dynasty
question, Jamie.
value was a Halloween candy, what would it be? So, Johnny, you love the question. I'll let you start.
Like it's one of those big candy bars. It's really beautiful, but there might be a razor blade in it because you like go to open it and you're like, wait, somebody might have tampered with this thing. But jokes aside, like this is awesome. I am starting him over Sam Laporta this week. I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but it's just kind of a funny thing that we're talking about. Like that's where we're at here. And I think this week is going to be so telling. If he can outscore Laporta, I think we're ready to say, yeah, I'm going to start him every week going forward. And he's younger and he's got tied to Justin Herbert. He might be the better long-term dynasty asset. So hold this guy because I still think if you were to buy him now, you could be buying him without like the full price baked into how good he could be long term.
For you, Evan,
$100,000.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
love a good $100,000, but like a big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're underrated. It's unless you're a candy aficionado, you're maybe not familiar with the $100,000 game, which may be how the casual fantasy players, because they're not all dynasty players like us, they might not be fully familiar with what Oronde Gadsden brings to the table.
And the price on Gadsden in Dynasty right now is approximately $100,000.
And it's only going up. I was going to go Sour Patch Kids. It's not quite the top tier. It's not quite the top tier like the Reese's Cups, which is like the Tyler Warrens, the Brock Bowers, but it's that candy that's really good. You're never sad when you see it in your candy bucket. But you got to be careful because like once that like sugary sour stuff is gone, it's just kind of chewy. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with the Sour Patch Kids, but I do like Oronde Gadsden, and those are all great candy references. Mando's back again. Should we be worried about Kyler Murray?
I think so. I mean,
Yes.
It looks like he might not start this week, and we're not exactly sure if it's still the injury or if he's just been benched. So for this week, I would suggest picking up Aaron Rodgers for sure.
What about
Especially
you, Johnny?
6-point passing touchdowns, that would tip the scale for me a little bit.
The Colts are going to give up points. I don't think their defense is as bad as if you just look statistically. If you go to like defensive rankings on Pro Football Reference and you look at what the Colts have given up, part of that's been game script dependent. Like they had no problem giving Justin Herbert 59 pass attempts because they were way ahead in that game. So I don't think their defense is that bad, but I do think that game's going to be a bit of a shootout. I want to get to G-Hop's question, but Dennis Rodriguez, great call. The Podfather is the Green Lantern.
I can totally see
Can
that.
totally see it. Although the Green Lantern, as the comic book nerd on this crew, more of like a secondary character. And let's be honest, you got to put the Podfather in the Batman, Superman. If you're going with the modern day Avengers,
Iron Man.
Seriously, like, could you not see like in like the multiverse, as they call it, the Podfather as like another variant of Tony Stark? Could totally see it. Could
100%.
totally, because he's got the humor. He's got that
A little
like
bit of an ass.
Yeah, he's got the Tom Ford sunglasses. I love the Podfather. This is so easy. All right, G-Hop. G-Hop says, pick 2, PPR running back. Henderson. Like, people are on the point to where Travion's is a need this week. JCM, Bill, Dowdle, Woody Marks, Monangai, Brashad Smith. I'm going to let Jonny go because I already know one of the 2.
Yeah, Monangai, and then I'm going to go Henderson since it's PPR, especially easy choice for me there.
Same.
Yeah. If I had to go, if you're on the fence with somebody, Woody Marks. The matchup's not good against Denver. I see Nick Chubb just absolutely laying an egg in this game, and without their full complement of weapons, he could be involved. But yeah, I'm 100% on Monangai and Henderson as well. I think this could be the Henderson breakout spot. We had the RJ Harvey breakout spot last week. The RJ Harvey had 3 touchdowns last week. Not a ton of yardage, but this could be the spot. Wait a minute. Jamie wrote a song for my other podcast, so we'll get to that on the next show. Hey fellas, do we think Michael Carter, will be splitting touches with Bam Knight? I'm in a bad spot. RB2. Alternatively, could go with Emanual Wilson. What do you think? Jonny instantly said no.
Did I miss something? Did they re-sign him?
He's on their practice squad, so I think there is a decent chance he's activated.
Okay.
But, it was previously like a 60-40 split in favor of Zonovan Knight. Now it's probably going to be like 70%. And Michael Carter, I don't even know if he gets that other 30%. I would definitely go with Emanual Wilson here. It's a pretty good matchup. He's getting like 30 to 40% of the work each week, and it's a really good offense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because if he's saying it's Carter or Wilson, then I'm going Wilson. If it's Bam or Wilson, I'm going Bam, obviously.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that is a tough spot.
I'm with you on Wilson because it's the same thing we talk about with any rookie or any player. Touches are earned, right? And Emanual Wilson, I think his touches are not only being earned to a degree, but I still don't think Josh Jacobs is 100%.
Yeah.
And maybe Matt LaFleur is wanting to do what I said that the Colts should be doing with Jonathan Taylor and what Kyle Shanahan should have done 2 years ago when he was up 40,000 points on teams and still running Christian McCaffrey out there. Maybe Matt LaFleur is the head coach that says, hey, I've got a veteran running back. He's a big part of our offense, but we're blowing teams out. Let's work in the young guy and keep the miles low on the veteran. So, yeah, I think Emanuel Wilson, sneaky touchdown upside.
Well, this has like blowout game written on it too, right? Green Bay versus a terrible Panthers run D. You could just see both him and Jacobs producing. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw this. He did ask or Terrell Jennings. And I think that is actually pretty damn interesting and something as of now, keep Emanuel Wilson, go with Emanuel Wilson. But let's keep our ear to the ground, everybody, and see what comes out from New England the next couple days of what that backfield split could look like. Because I think we all want it to be a big Henderson game. Wouldn't be surprised if somehow Terrell Jennings ends up being the like early down back.
There's definitely a chance, and it would just be completely heartbreaking.
It would it would trigger the entire Dynasty world. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, but I caught wind of this the other day. So in 2018, the New England Patriots drafted Sony Michel, and the Cleveland Browns drafted Nick Chubb, teammates out of Georgia. In 2025, the New England Patriots drafted Travion Henderson, and the Cleveland Browns drafted Quinshon Judkins, teammates out of Ohio State. And so far, it looks like Cleveland has always got the better end of this deal.
Yep, certainly looking
still
like
sucks.
That so far.
Still a terrible team.
Yeah, but I don't know. It makes me sad even talking about it. All right, here we go. I'm in a 10-man league. I have Christian McCaffrey, Jacobs, Kyron Williams, picked up Monangai. Would you sub Monangai for one of his starters? So would you play now? This is an easy Jonny question because you're the Monangai guy. So would you sub him in for any of these guys? Jacobs dealing with the calf.
Oh man, I do love how ambitious he's being, but this is right about where I draw the line, right? It's like true bell cows who have proven they can drop 30 points any given week. Like I'm that bullish on Monangai, but I think we can pump the brakes. Those are three of the best running backs in the league. You just got to start them all.
Yeah, so I currently have Kyron ranked as my RB10 this week, and I think I'm gonna have Monangai at RB11. So I think you got to still roll with Kyron, even though we've been talking up Monangai today.
Here's how I feel about a situation like this. If you start Monangai and you lose your matchups and one of those guys blows up on your bench, you will not be able to live with yourself.
Yeah,
But if you lose your matchup and you start your studs, you made the right process. You made the right call. I would just say be very happy you have Monangai, because at some point you'll be able to plug him in your lineup, especially if one of those guys gets banged up. When we think about this dynasty trade, Jamie traded a Gadsden for a 27 first. He now only has 27 shares of Gadsden in Dynasty. I did Jamie's show. Jamie's got a podcast, and I did his show, and we were doing our most owned players by position. Yeah, that's his like number one most rostered. I think that's not a bad return. You know, you probably got Gadsden as like a late second, early third in a tight end premium. So to get a 27 first, that draft class is looking pretty good. Going out a year with Ryan Williams from Alabama, and then I'm drawing a blank on the guy from
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, the guy from Ohio State. So it gives you another lottery ticket.
Especially if you already had 18 shares of Gadsden, selling one for a first is a great move.
Yeah, and he's a Browns, Ohio, fan. So it was not a bad call. All right, do they go back up to questions? RIQ, did I miss your question? All right, I'll look for it in case I missed it.
We definitely scrolled past, I think, a couple.
All right, well,
we got a lot of questions in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're gonna get to all of them.
All right, I'm going back. He says he sad to see. I miss. Oh, here we go. Half point PPR, Kamara bums me out. That offense is so bad. I'll be curious to see what he looks like with Tyler Shuck, which rhymes with suck. You got Kareem Hunt, so you got Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Henderson, Woody Marks, Bam. Who do I start? I mean, is that one? We start 1, 2, or 3. Okay, pick your favorite there.
If I'm ranking them, I would say Henderson or Bam. I think it comes down to that for me. Right now, I'm leaning Henderson, but I'm not 100% on that.
Jonny, I'm just going to say mine in this situation because of what I anticipate the role to be, and it's looking like it's going to be Jacoby Brissett as the starter. I'm going to say Bam of these guys. I feel the most confident. Dallas's running defense is absolute trash. Yeah. I don't know what Kareem Hunt's role is going to be. I love Henderson. I hope this is his breakout game. I have a lot of Henderson in Dynasty. I like Woody Marks long term, but Denver has given up the second fewest receptions to the running back position on the season. That's not a great matchup. I'd like to see Kamara with Shuck for a game. I'd like to see what the backfield snaps looks like with Kareem and Smith. So all that into account, I mean, I know Bam's going to get the majority of the work. I know he's got a great matchup in a standalone game on Monday Night Football with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, it's not the sexiest name on the list, but I think it's the most points on the list.
I'm with it.
Jonny?
Yeah, I can live with either Bam or Henderson. It's just this guy left a couple comments and is talking about like Chuba's out there as well. I don't know if you're dropping any of these guys to pick up Chuba right now, which is just crazy to say out loud. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to go with Bam too, just because of that Dallas D. To your point, it's a porous run defense and half point PPR. And again, there's still not absolute certainty with Travion Henderson that he's going to get 15 plus touches either this weekend. We just don't know that for sure.
We are sitting here talking about, this is going to be Travion Henderson's breakout week, but we're sweating Terrell Jennings.
As we should.
I mean, just like we drew it up back in June. It's gonna be Travion season. So let's do this real quick because there's a lot of like bits and pieces. I'm gonna put this together top of my head, and I'll start with Jonny. Rank these guys just 1 through 7. All right, Bam Knight, Travion Henderson, Woody Marks, Monangai, Kamara, Dowdle, and Chuba. Just out of that group, because and the reason why I'm doing this is there's a lot of these type questions. It's a mix and match of these games. I think you got to go Monangai 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Go ahead.
I think Bam and Henderson fight for that second spot, and I think
Mhm.
I'm willing to bump Henderson ahead in full PPR ahead of Bam. I think it's that close. That would be my tiebreaker. If it's half point, I'm leaning Bam. If it's full point PPR, I'm leaning Henderson. And
like
then I think Kareem after, because that's such a good offense, and he's going to get the goal line work. He's been scoring 10, 12 points. It's not sexy, but he's been putting a decent floor together. Kamara has just been, me and Evan were like, he's my highest owned player in best ball. Like this was, I did not see this coming, right? But he hasn't had the juice. I think he's dinged up with a foot injury or an ankle injury.
He's splitting the backfield 50-50 with Devin Neal, who was a healthy scratch 2 weeks ago. Like
it's
this
bad.
was really bad.
Yeah, but I still think that all said, I'll probably still have him ahead of almost Dowdle and Chuba this week, just because such a tough matchup against Green Bay, and they're still kind of splitting it. I'm hoping we see a 70-30 split with Dowdle this week, and we can feel comfortable starting one of them going forward.
Yeah, I'm in lockstep with Jonny on all that.
I am as well, and like I said, I don't want to like ignore any one person's question, but we've answered like 4 or 5 of those that are all very similar. There's like, one guy's here, one guy's there, but we're just trying to give you a general overall feel for that pocket of running backs in the rankings. Do have a quarterback question, and they did. I'm not. These are all just characters. VBZ2X, is that like a Peyton Manning play? Murray or Joe Flacco or Jared Goff? For me, it's Jared Goff. I mean, Joe Flacco's banged up. Kyler Murray probably not playing. And one thing about old Dan Campbell, he loves absolutely putting a beat down on division foes. Look what he did to the Bears earlier in the season. He did it a couple of times last year. I think the Minnesota Vikings and poor JJ McCarthy are going to get all the smoke this week. So for me, this is easily Jared Goff, and it's going to be in a dome. No wind, no rain, no weather, fast track. Everybody's healthy. Yeah, for me, it's easy Jared Goff.
Good point. I will say that we should know tomorrow whether Kyler Murray will be playing. Right now, it looks like he's not. But if we were to get the news that he is playing Monday night, then you have to start Kyler. He's playing Dallas. It's not a question. Otherwise, I agree that it's Jared Goff.
I don't know, man. This is dome Jared Goff against Minnesota. I don't know, man. I would be curious to go and just see what he did against them last year, because the offense isn't all that different. I just feel like that Kyler's just been struggling, man. Like, I don't know. I think I got to go Jared Goff.
Kyler versus Dallas. Like, what are we? It's Dallas.
He's from Texas. I know
he's been bad, but it doesn't matter. It's Dallas.
I will give you that. Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, Bo Nix last week looked like prime Drew Brees last week. So we're right up on the hour. I think we got through just about everybody. I want to thank everybody in the chat. The chat this week was crazy. I do have a question. Is there any player in Dynasty? This is just a question from Memphis. Is there any player in Dynasty that stands to gain more Dynasty value than Breece Hall in the next 9 months, whether he gets traded this week or signs with a new team? Because he's 24 years old. He will be the youngest of all the free agent running backs next year. There's so many good spots that he could land in. It's not a bad outside of Jeremiah Love with Notre Dame. It's not a great running back class coming out of college. And like I said, he's only 24. He could have another 4 or 5 good years. If he were to get moved to a great opportunity or re-sign with one, is there a guy that could spring up more in the Dynasty rankings this time in like 6 months?
I don't know if there's a single player that is like more likely to gain significant value in the offseason than Breece Hall, because you can't go anywhere but up from the New York Jets. And there's some places where he could, completely smash as well.
Is that the Sam Darnold corollary?
Yeah, or any number of players, honestly.
What about you, Jonny? From a Dynasty standpoint, I mean, I think right now you can get Brees Hall for what he's going for, and you're going to gain instant equity maybe as soon as Tuesday if he were to get traded. I don't think he will. I'll give a shout out to Mike Wright from the Fantasy Footballers. He was like, the pick that a team would give up to the Jets to get Brees Hall probably wouldn't be better than the compensatory pick they're going to get for losing him in free agency anyway. So there's not a whole lot of motivation unless you wanted to give up like a contender, an NFL contender second, like the Chiefs wanted to give up. Like
chance.
There's I agree, but is there any? I mean, Johnny, thoughts on Brees Hall?
No, I love it. I think it's fun, like, question, because to your point, it's hard to pick a guy that you can forecast, a potential upsurge. One guy I'll throw in there is Gunnar Helm. Like, I was just looking through a couple of players that I like, who it's like in a year from now, you're like, oh, this guy is. You asked, kind of the question was like 8-9 months, right? Or long term, who are we going to look back at? And I just don't know if Chig Okonkwo is the future there. And I think Gunnar Helm's getting more and more involved. I've loved him. I think he's a guy. He didn't make it to like the stash segment of today's show. I don't know if it's this week or it's a few weeks, but yeah, they turned that offense around. Cam Ward's shown some promise. He could be a fun guy who goes from like what 2,500 on keep trade cuts, probably what he's like, to maybe 5 or 6 if he has a really strong end of the season or something like that, and they clear out room and tell us he's the guy. So again, we're wish casting, right? But that's a fun guy for me. I've always liked his talent, and he's shown some good tape in the NFL so far as well.
Yeah, I love that take from out of nowhere.
Thanks,
too. I was expecting, like, I was gonna say George Pickens, somebody around the same level as Brees Hall, who gonna be a free agent if he does re-sign in Dallas, which I think he will. That's just a massive boost for his dynasty value. So keep an eye on that.
And that's one thing, and we'll end it on this for the Dynasty gamers that stuck around. Now is a great time to start going to like Spotrac or Over the Cap and start looking at who is the free agent class of 2026. Like a guy that I'm looking forward to, because I was just writing down some potential really good running back landing spots for next year. The Bengals. No offense to Chase Brown. This is what happens when you give day 3 running back starting jobs in the NFL. There's a problem. He's Chase Brown. The Ravens could be looking for a permanent starter now that Derrick Henry's finally at like 32 years old has started to somewhat look like a mortal. And then the Chiefs need a long-term answer. So these are all spots. So like a guy like Travis Etienne, that, I start looking for guys, good, talented guys that could wind up in new spots. So Evan, before we get out of here, give me a prediction for tonight's World Series game, 6.
I'm gonna say the Dodgers win it 6-4, and we go to Game 7. That's what I hope. And then the Blue Jays break the Dodgers' hearts in Game 7. That's what I'm looking for.
I love that. I just would rather get it over with because I want to enjoy college football tomorrow. So let's see the Blue Jays shut them down tonight. Good Saturday of college ball, and then a big NFL Sunday. Johnny, anything from you before we get out of here?
No, man. Love doing the show with you guys. Make sure you follow us all on X. I'm at Fantasy Picasso. We got at DWZ Memphis, and I believe at Evan Ringler FF.
Correct.
Give us all some love. Like the show, comment on it. If you got additional questions we didn't get to, I sometimes will go back and check the comments after the show. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the page and make sure you catch us every Friday at 3:30.
What a great way to close. And if you got ideas or something that you would love to see in a Dynasty podcast this offseason that maybe you're not being taken care of in the current content market, let us know, because the three of us are going to do something Dynasty related starting as soon as the NFL season's over. And we want to make it kind of like this to where people like talking about it in the chat, and we can help you guys. So love doing the show. We'll be back next week for more. And until then, see you in week 10.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.